years, many people have told me that they discovered Lolita fashion from me. They learned everything about it from me, which is really affirming and very kind and sweet. But it also scares me a lot and stresses me out. I firmly believe that you should not learn everything about Lolita from just me. You should take in multiple sources. You should be looking at other blogs, looking at other YouTube channels. I have always wanted to share Lolita fashion. I felt really alienated when I first got into the fashion, and my objective has always been to share the community, to share resources, and my journey started on LiveJournal and then moved to Tumblr and now is on YouTube. But I did a lot on Tumblr when I was still a beginner myself, and now I'm scared that information may not be correct. This led me to private my Tumblr account because I don't want people searching for information and then finding this and thinking that it is law, that these are rules, that my advice was correct, because I'm not sure that it was. When I was starting out in Lolita fashion, I was just repeating a lot of things that I had heard from other people that I had learned. But through the years, actually wearing it, actually participating in the community, and, you know, my life changing, me changing, meeting new people, I've learned a lot, and I don't know that I agree with everything that I was repeating in the beginning. I don't know. I've already noticed changes in how I feel about things, even just on YouTube. And I think that it's really important when you are reading blogs, when you are watching YouTube videos, that you look at the date when something was released, because a lot of times on the internet these things are all back to back, all mixed up, and you could be watching a video from yesterday and then go to a video from 6 years ago, and not just with me but with anyone, you know, that person's ideas may have changed, their situation may have changed, the people in their life may have changed. Like, there's a whole manner of things to consider. So always check the date and factor that into when you're taking that information. Be like, okay, maybe this is outdated, maybe this is current. So today I'm gonna go through my Lolita advice on Tumblr, and I'm just going to react to it and let you know if I still agree with these things and add on anything that I may have missed or that I may have learned since. I know that this is going to be a lot of reading and just dialogue, and it may be confusing between the person who's asking it, my past self, and then me now. So I'm going to use different voices and visual representation to show which voice is talking. I also want to address that I am dyslexic, and on top of that I have an additional visual processing disorder, so reading text, I sometimes misinterpret things, and I may have misinterpreted things when I answered these, and I may also misinterpret things now. So I just ask for your grace and kindness when watching this. If you think that I've made some sort of mistake, let me know in the comments and I will address it for sure, but that is a possibility of happening. I don't have any plan for this of how many I'm going to look at, and I didn't plan ahead, so this is real fresh and I'm just gonna do it until I'm basically tired of it.
Hi lovely Lore. I wanted to say I really love watching your videos. I was wondering, I'm transgender FTM but I still love wearing Lolita. The trouble is, it's impossible not to be misgendered in a big frilly princess dress. Do you think it would be rude to correct people in that situation? I'd be polite about it, of course. I don't really know how the Lolita community reacts to male Lolitas, or trans ones, so I've been very nervous about going to any meetups or being honest about who I am at them.
I'm not sure when I answered this because it's hard for me to see the dates on Tumblr. This layout has changed and now it's unfamiliar with me, and I haven't used it in at least 5 years, so I apologize, but this advice was from at least 5 years ago.
I don't want to come off as rude, but you do need to be prepared because I'm certain it will happen. I've had friends of different genders wear Lolita and the default people will use is she. but I found that people in the Lolita community are generally understanding and respectful. I've accidentally misgendered people, and in most cases, the person has just set their preferred pronoun after, and then I apologize, and it's instantly fixed. I know how to address them there on out. I think most people will react that way. It's not that they misgender you coming from a bad place, they just don't know or understand, and our society is built to associate a dress with she. It might become repetitive or frustrating, but keep it up because it'll help expand your comm and make it easier for trans people in the future.
Correct and also not correct. There's like a sense of reading this, I'm like, you act like you know everything, but you don't. You're dumb. First things first, to say that it's instantly fixed is stupid and wrong, because even if you misgender someone by accident, you have no bad intention of doing it, it can still cause harm and trauma to them. And for me to say that is stupid. Like, I don't know that it's instantly fixed. It can be bad. I also use the term preferred pronoun, which is out of date now. It's not used. You just say pronouns. You don't need to say preferred pronoun. Because almost by saying preferred pronoun, it seems like they have another pronoun from society that they should be using, but this is preferred. Do you know what I mean? It's not necessary. It's a not necessary word. You can just say pronouns. I have found that it's a lot easier when you meet people to just not use pronouns until you know them. I also find that it's really easy to just introduce yourself with pronouns. I know it might feel awkward at first because other people may not, depending on like where your community is too. It can be kind of scary because more conservative places, you know, could be scary, but I think that it helps just to do it. Like, whether you're cis or trans, just be like, hi, I'm Lore, I use she, her. And usually when you introduce yourself to someone that way, they will then reply with, my name is so-and-so and I use they, them, or whatever their pronouns may be. But I have encountered times where I introduce myself and then the person's just like, hi, it's so nice to meet you. And I'm like, but what is your name? What are your pronouns? It's a little bit of a discomfort thing, but I think that just doing it more and more, you will get more comfortable with it. Also, in the last 5 years, I feel that the representation of trans, non-binary people in the Lolita community has grown exponentially, and so many people are just used to it by now that it is not as scary as it was 5 years ago, hopefully. Again, it depends on each community. I have said a lot, and I still feel like I haven't really gotten to the root of this question, which is, should you correct someone who misgenders you? And yes, you can. It's not rude. People should not get upset at you for it. And I'm very curious if this person continued in Lolita fashion.
Sponsor time.
This video is sponsored by HelloFresh. Looking for more ways to save? HelloFresh is cheaper than grocery shopping and 25% cheaper than takeout. Good food is too precious to waste. HelloFresh's pre-portioned ingredients cut down your food waste by at least 23% compared to grocery shopping, which is good for your wallet and the planet. For so long, I have had issues with food waste. I feel so guilty about it, especially with vegetables because they expire so fast, but I love them. And when I go grocery shopping on my own, I always end up with way too much, or in the long run, I end up spending more money to get a smaller quantity. So I'm really grateful that HelloFresh only sends the ingredients that you need for these recipes. Spend less time in the kitchen with quick and easy meals like HelloFresh's fast and fresh pineapple chicken tacos or falafel power bowls, ready in 15 minutes or less. Thank you so much, HelloFresh, for sponsoring this video. Check out my link in the description below or scan this QR code and use my code for a special discount.
Hi, I have a question about Lolita and disability. I am autistic and I find it really hard to be in places with loud music, like restaurants. When I am not in Lolita, I sometimes try to ask for accommodations, but when I am in a meetup I am afraid to do it, because I already feel I take too much space with my fluffy dress, my stumbling upon social rules and my body language, and my gender. Is it too much to ask in a restaurant? I am afraid some people in my comm will frown upon it.
So I answered this with,
More importantly than how your comm feels, but are you comfortable? That's what is key. You should be honest and upfront with your comm about your disability, otherwise they won't understand. I think it's perfectly fine to ask for arrangements like that, and it's also okay to bail on meetups you won't be comfortable at. I know it's not the same, but I hate karaoke, I don't like singing in front of people, and I don't drink.
that's changed, I do drink now.
And in private rooms, it gives me high anxiety, so I just avoid those meetups. Same could be applied to you. If loud restaurants trigger problems for you, you can always avoid those meets and maybe attend or suggest picnic meets. I think that your community will be accepting and understand your behavior and requests as long as you explain your situation.
I think that this is a good answer. I think it's silly that I equated I don't think it was even necessary to give my own example because it's not the same at all, but whatever. I think another thing to add to my past response is that it's important to let your community know before the meetup, like when you are RSVPing or like considering going, to talk with a moderator beforehand and let them know about this so that it's not on the day of, because it might not be possible for them to make arrangements on the day of. It might be something that needs to be done ahead of time, or like looking for certain venues that will meet this need. I didn't mention it here, but I know I have some autistic friends who find great comfort with headphones, and I think that that's something, I'm sure this person already has considered that, and that could be one of the accommodations that they have. And then in this, I also mentioned maybe bailing on certain meets that might be uncomfortable to you, and I think that to add to that as well, maybe look for venues or meets that you are comfortable in. Like when you're not in Lolita, just make notes of like, oh, this restaurant's really nice. Oh, this cafe is really nice. And suggest that, or offer to help your moderators make a meetup in those spaces. This next question has to do with periods, so if you are uncomfortable hearing about periods, skip to this timestamp. I think it's important to talk about periods. It is a normal body function, so let's get into it.
Do you have any tips on dealing with heavy periods while wearing Lolita? I have to do a lot of walking and I'm afraid of getting on my brand during ILD.
The advice I gave was
Super absorbent tampons with the thickest overnight pads, and make sure you change your tampons within the proper time, which is sometimes difficult at picnic meetups, but you gotta. Great thing about Lolita is that you can bulk up on stuff without people being aware because it's under fluff. Wear tights and maybe thick underwear and tight workout shorts. Also, if you do end up going, make sure at the end you really check over what you are wearing, so if you do end up with leakage, you can take care of it right away and clean without staining.
I still stand by this advice. I think that also Diva cups are a great option. I don't think I was as aware of them at the time, and no matter what I do, I always just wear a pad as well, because it's almost like mental comfort for me just knowing that there's like that extra level of protection. I also want to elaborate on making sure to check your clothing over. I can't say this word on YouTube anymore, so cold water will get period matter out of fabrics. I always forget whether it's hot or cold water, but it's cold water.
Do you know how strict comms usually are about age limits? The Facebook page of the comm in my area says you have to be 16, but I am 14. I really want to join it.
Oh my gosh, I just realized that it's been at least 5 years since I've answered these, and this person was 14. So now they're 19. That's so wild. And I wonder if now they're still into Lolita fashion. What I said was,
Yes and no, it depends on the community. It isn't about alienating age, but rather legal issues. Unfortunately, at 14, you can't be accountable for yourself in all situations. Approach the community with your legal guardian and let them know that your guardian gives consent for you to go to events and be involved. A lot of the times, community will let you in. Some may tell you to wait just because they're afraid of being responsible for someone who is underage. I hope that all makes sense, and I'm sorry if you face any inconveniences. Remember, you can always be a Lolita by yourself. You always have the online community supporting you as well.
I think that is well answered. Yeah, makes sense. Now I'm like going through a bunch of hate comments, and I don't know why they're under Lolita advice. Why did I tag this as Lolita advice? They're literally just hate messages. Oh, Tumblr, what a weird time.
Lore, when bringing your non-lolly boyfriend to meets, what is the appropriate thing to wear?
Remember when we used Loli instead of Lolita? Oh my gosh. Okay, let's get into this.
I feel like this isn't a question I should answer, but have the boyfriends answer. I asked a bunch of friends, Lolita boyfriends and Lolitas, and here are some of their responses. Death metal shirts and black pants. Black cargo shorts, Doc Martens.
Striped black and white shirt. I know exactly whose partner that was. I know who gave that answer.
Clothes that fit. You don't want to go to a meetup with the whole, she looks so cute, but her boyfriend. Oh, and you might want to stay away from graphic tees. Button-collared shirts with a nice pair of jeans and shoes will take you far. Plain and simple graphics are okay too. Look nice, like you're meeting your girlfriend's parents for the first time.
I think that these are all great. Of course, it depends on the meetup and the dress code of that meetup and the situation. Like if it's a high tea, they may need to dress more formally. If it's just a casual meetup at a convention or like at a bubble tea place or something more low-key, they can just dress really however. I think it's always fun to have your partner dress in some sort of alternative fashion. I feel like a lot of Lolitas attract people that are also into alternative fashion. But then some aren't. They just aren't interested in fashion at all, and that's fine. I also want to address that like you don't have to bring your partner to meetups. You can have separate interests. I think it's important for people to have like their own time with their friends too. So yeah, you don't have to always bring them if they don't want to come or if they have different interests. I feel like I actually answered things not too bad. I'm not too ashamed. There's a little things to tweak here and there. There's still so many under this tag. Like I answered questions for years on Tumblr. There's so much to go through. So if this is something that you're interested on hearing more of, let me know in the comments. I sometimes feel like I've answered every question there is about Lolita fashion, so if there's still something that you don't totally understand or if you're looking for resources, also let me know about that. And as always, stay lovely.